So hello guys, welcome to Sports News page. So we have got Floyd Pinto Sir with us. So welcome sir, welcome to our page and how are you?
Thank you for having me over on the sports news page. Uh, I'm good, not as good as I would want to be in the pandemic, but
Yeah,
somehow managing. Uh, Busy with a lot of Zoom calls, Euros, obviously. So taking it day by day and trying to stay away from going crazy. That's the only way I can put it.
absolutely. Sir, tell me one thing that's how you guys have been spending this whole year because there have been COVID-19, there have been lockdown, especially I League has got by and also ISL. Tell me.
No, I think we've been fortunate as compared to many others in the country because the All India Football Federation have managed to hold the I League even in such a situation. So we were fortunate that for about 4 months in the year, we were able to be on the ground, train, play matches, go through the entire league. Although it was in a bio bubble in a hotel, but it's better than sitting at home and doing nothing. You know?
Absolutely.
So, as coaches and as football players, uh, we all wanted to be on the ground working. So it's kudos to the AIFF for managing to organize the I League, uh, prior to that, the second division, and then later on the ISL as well. Because as we've seen, there are many other sporting events in the country that uh, uh, you know weren't able to go ahead or as planned due to the pandemic. So I've been very fortunate that I was able to complete the I League season and looking forward to the next one as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, tell us about your journey from an engineer to a professional football coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's well documented now that uh, you know the thing is, many people ask me, have I completed my engineering? Yes, I have. I did complete my engineering, so I'm a bachelor in information technology. So, bachelor's of engineering in information technology. But I've been very passionate about sport right from the start, and in specific, I was very passionate about football. Uh, so, during my engineering, I decided that you know this kind of desktop job wouldn't be to my liking. I'm not someone who can sit in the office and work from 9 to 5. I wanted to be into sport, and I never imagined that I'll get so far into coaching. But I would want to be somewhere into football. Whether it be management, whether it be maybe something into sports science or anything that would get me involved in football, whether it would be India or abroad. I actually applied to 5 universities in the UK because I was a big Premier League fan. I'm a big Liverpool fan. So for me, football was England. So, so I applied to a lot of universities. There are 5 universities, in fact, and got through in all 5 universities for sports management course. Because back then I thought that sports management would lead me into coaching. Uh, but as I researched even more, I thought that this would lead more into the management side of things, and there were coaching licenses available, for you to get into the coaching side of things. And after going through engineering, uh, to be honest, I didn't want to take that financial risk or that financial burden of a couple more years plus more in a UK university, without the assurance of maybe having a job out there. So what I did was I pursued my FA licenses. Uh, so I got a job through the college as a database administrator because I was well versed with Oracle. So I was a database administrator by profession. So I got a job with ICICI Securities, and it was a 15-month job. So, and in those days, I don't know if it's still there. There was this bond, so you have to pay a certain amount of money, and if you leave the job before that period, you lose that amount of money. So that was the only reason why I stayed for 15 months with ICICI Securities, because I wanted that money back, because that time it was very crucial for me. But what I did was, the administrator of my institution, Father Adolf Furtado, he got me in touch with Sir Deep Kengre, who was the founder, who is the founder of Kengre Football Club and Academy in Mumbai. So, they trained at a venue which is very close to my place, Shivaji Park. So, what I did was, I worked from Monday to Fridays with ICICI Securities, and on Saturday and Sunday, I trained with Kengre Football Club. So I started with 6-year-olds, on a weekend as a part-time coach, just to get a feel of how coaching is. Is it going to be worth it? Am I up for it? So as those 15 months went in, I got a good feedback from Sir Kingre and even Joshua Lewis, who is the CEO of Kingre Football Club, that you can go much more ahead with your coaching if you would like to. And at that point of time, you never imagined football either being a player or a coach as a career. It was either you become an engineer or you become a doctor, uh, either of the two, or you go abroad for further studies and settle down there. But I kind of felt that I needed to do something that would make me happy inside, because I knew if, whatever decision I took at that point of time, if I failed, it was up to me, and if I succeeded, then great. Unfortunately, from that time onwards, I had a lot of good people around me. The staff, the administrator at Don Bosco Institute of Technology helped me a lot, encouraged me a lot. Uh, the institution itself was based around sports as well. As every Don Bosco institution, as you know, in the city or in the country, they always have a connection with sport. Then Mr. Kingre, Joshua Lewis, and a lot of other well-wishers were there who guided me through the entire process. So it is through Kingre I did my FA level 1, which is FA level 1 and FA level 2. That is equivalent to an AFCC license. So I went to England. I got my license done, because at that point of time there were no licenses in India as well. And having not played professionally, I felt I needed something in my hand as you know as proof that I am eligible to coach. So I was very sure that I wanted to do my licenses. So that's how it started with Kingre Football Club. I did my FA level 1, FA level 2, and once I finished my job with my tenure with ICICI Securities, I started coaching full time with Kingres. And that time, I didn't think about any age groups or time or anything like that. It was like training the youth teams, training the grassroots, training the age group teams in the middle. So I was training basically almost 3 to 4 hours every day. And I think at this point of time, that amount of hours that I put into practical coaching was what helped me, and is what made me who I am right now. So that was the start. Spent a good 6 years with Kingre Football Club before I left for the AFF academies in Goa. So that was the start. Had a good bunch of people around me, and I'm still fortunate and still in touch with them, because I believe you need people around you, not to just uh, you know appreciate what you're doing, but you need people around you to criticize as well, uh, and let you know that don't don't rest on your laurels, don't settle down, always keep pushing the limits. So I had these people around me, and I still do, and I still go back to them for advice. So I've been fortunate for that. I'm just getting started. As well as coaching is concerned, I have a lot more ambitions, and I'm working towards it.
Okay, sir. First of all, I would like to go with the audience question that's from Saurabh Mukherjee point of view. So, sir, how
Yep.
happy are you to see ISL young player like Liston and Apuya? It's a very huge question.
No, I'm not surprised, and I'm very happy because when I was part of the AIFF Elite Academy in in Goa, uh, Apuya had come in as part of the Under 17 World Cup team, and then after that he was part of the Under 19 team under me as well, and the Arrows as well. So I am not at all surprised by the performances and the level that he has achieved at this moment of time. And I feel he's just getting started because he's such a mature player. He's got a good base behind him because being from Mizoram, which is a very sports centric country, he's played a lot of sports as a kid. He's been into futsal as well. So, that background is helping him because one good quality about Apuya is that he's so calm and cool under pressure, which is what we don't see in many Indian players. That when you're under pressure, you generally lose the ball or you give away the ball, but not Apuya. He's calm, he comes out of it. His touch is exceptional. He's always looking to play a forward pass, something that we talk about at the national team level. Scanning a head movement is exceptional for Apuya. So I'm not surprised that he's there. And he's just getting started. I think he's benefited by going to Northeast United and playing the entire season because there's no substitute for competitive game time. So I think that has helped him a lot. So it's another season, I think, with Northeast or wherever he goes will help. And I think he must have benefited a lot being with the national team camp because training with the likes of Sunil Chetri, Brandon Fernandez uh, will help you. You will get to know the level that you need to reach, the areas where you need to improve, the difference between club football and national team football. So I'm looking forward to it. Liston, it was unfortunate because at that point of time, he wasn't accommodated in the AIFF youth teams. So, but he's from the state of Goa. Uh, a lot of matches. I think he was playing. The good part about Liston, I think he must have played at least 30 matches a season. Maybe with the local under 18 leagues, the Goa Pro League, then the AIFF leagues. So he must have played a lot of matches, which has got him to that level. And I think training and playing with FC Goa, he built a good base for himself. And if you look at it now, his decision to leave FC Goa and go to Hyderabad was a good one because he managed to get some game time. And again, that's what is the game changer for a lot of players now. Because if you're good enough, you're old enough. That's the motto right now. So if you get game time, you can prove yourself. And I think Liston uh, has done his reputation no harm by putting in some good performances with Hyderabad FC, making it to the national team camp. Again, understanding the difference between uh, club football and national team football, a lot of potential in these two players. And I see them. Uh, it's time now. I still call them potential because they shouldn't relax at this moment of time. In fact, both of them now should use this opportunity that they've got with the national team camp and the game time in the ISL to further improve themselves and push themselves and make sure that they improve with every game that they play and with every season that they spend in Indian football. And if they can do that, they have the potential to possibly be very important players for Indian football going forward. Yeah.
Sir, in this context, I would like to ask you a question that who are the youngsters who have impressed you the most, either in the I League or in the ISL?
I'll start with the I League because I was part of it. And this season, there was only one name for me who stood out, and that was Vidyasagar Singh. For an Indian player to score that many amount of goals throughout the league, end up as a top goal scorer, which we haven't had for a long time, I think we should not think. I couldn't think beyond Vidyasagar. So I believe that this is a good launchpad for him now to further improve and become better, take up more tougher challenges, and continue scoring goals. Hopefully, if he gets to play, whether it be in the I League or in the ISL, wherever. But I think Vidyasagar, I can't see beyond him. And when it comes to the ISL, again, we talk about potential, potential, potential. It's high time we give praise to players, young players who have actually practically achieved something. And for me, that is Suresh, because he's not just been a potential talent for us ever since the Under 17 World Cup. He's started for Bengaluru FC through the entire season. He's made it into the Indian national team camp, and not just made it there. With his hard work and his performances, I believe he's now one of the first names on the team sheet for Igor's team, because he's such a versatile player. He's so energetic, and his energy is infectious when he plays. And he everybody around him, he gets everybody around him to play in the same way that he does. And he's a winner. He doesn't like to be second best. He wants to be the best, and he's proving it week in week out. So there are a lot of potential players, who could be stars of the future. But at this point of time, one is Vidyasagar and one is Suresh Singh, because these guys have now proved it. It's one thing to be a potential talent. It's the other thing to prove it week in week out. And these two players have had a good season, and hopefully now they can start being more consistent. Uh, with the likes of, say, Anirudh Thapa, Roland Borges, Brandon Fernandez, these guys, Sunil Chetri, of course, uh, you know, doing it week in, week out, every game for their club and country. So that's the level now that they need to achieve in order to truly establish themselves as, important players for the national team and their club going ahead.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, my next question to you is, being with different various age groups of Indian national football team, can you please share some experiences with the Indian Under 17 World Cup squad? Because I think it was a remarkable achievement. While Jackson Singh scored a goal in that tournament, though we were eliminated from the group stages, just share your experience.
Yeah, although I wasn't involved with the Under 17 World Cup squad, uh, it was good to see these boys develop right from being part of that academy in Doha, right from the initial selection to the World Cup. And that group has probably been the most uh, exposed group, you could say, the group that has received a lot of exposure. They have received a lot of game time, competitive game time, access to different cultures. They've played almost in every part of the world. Um, you know, they've traveled, so they realize and they've seen what football is like in various parts of the world, and they've taken that on themselves. Because I think that was the first group, and I think they are leading the way with all players as to how to take care of yourselves on and off the field. You know, because like I said, for this camp, a lot of players had come in without playing a lot of game time, but they were at a certain level of fitness. So that kind of awareness has come in ever since the Under 17 World Cup team boys have entered into professional football. And many of them have already made their debuts for the senior national team. Amarjeet has made his debut. Suresh has made his debut. So, there are a lot of players, potential players in that team. For example, Rahul KP is there. Jackson, like you said, is there. Who are now starting to uh, put their impressions on club football, and hopefully in the future for the Indian national team as well. So it's good to see that these players who are part of probably one of the biggest events in the country football wise now making a mark in club football, because I think the entire uh, aim of the Under 17 World Cup project was not just to get the World Cup to India, but was to make sure that this batch of boys provide the base for the Indian football team or moving forward. And I think within a few years' time, maybe a couple of years' time, you will find a lot of these boys from this group who will be a core part of the senior national team as well. So I think that was a project, and it's not only the Under 17 World Cup boys, the other groups as well. The AIFF youth teams have always been producing players who have gone on to play for the senior national team as well. So few more years and you will see a lot more players representing the senior national team. Yeah.
How much is going to be difficult for India after this whole project is on? Because under 17 World Cup gave birth to many young talents, if you notice.
Okay. Difficult in the
So,
sense?
sorry, sir.
I didn't get your question.
Now, my question to you is, how long will it take to India to reach World Cup of 2030? We are aiming for World Cup 2026 or 2034. Okay, so how
Okay.
much is going to take?
I can't give a time span on how much it's going to take. All I can say is that uh, the first stage would be to regularly qualify for the Asia Cup. That is the first stage. And everybody says, okay, now we've qualified for the Asia Cup, now we should qualify for the World Cup. I don't think so. I think we've, first of all, qualification for the Asia Cup is necessary every year. Now our next aim should be to qualify for the uh, knockout phases of the Asia Cup, so that we can compete against the teams in our group like Qatar, like Iran, like Iraq, Oman, these kind of teams. That is the next level, because if we can compete with them in these next few years, that would give us the encouragement going into the next uh, World Cup qualifiers. And it's been beneficial for India because the Asia Cup was expanded, which meant that uh, our qualification for the Asia Cup was uh, very encouraging. That means we should qualify for each and every Asia Cup henceforth. So the next World Cup as well in 2026 is an expanded World Cup. So if we do things right from now till the next qualification, I think we can take that small step forward towards becoming the top 10 countries in Asia. Because at present we are, I think, 16, if I'm not mistaken, 15 or 16. So it's a very difficult gap that to bridge that next five gaps to break into the top 10. And I feel we have another 2 or 3 years of good development left so that we can bridge that small gap, because with 8+1 qualification slots being there for the 2026 World Cup, obviously it's a very good opportunity. But we are not the only ones who are improving. If you look at the likes of Vietnam and the other countries, Tajikistan are doing well, Lebanon, all these countries are doing really well. So so I wouldn't really worry about qualifying for the World Cup. For me, if we don't qualify for this Asia Cup, then I'll be really upset. So I wish we want to qualify for this Asia Cup and we want to make it to the knockout stage. We were so close last year, the last Asia Cup. I hope that we can, after qualifying for this Asia Cup, we can make it to the knockout stage. That would be a good achievement for us. And then we can think about, maybe winning the Asia Cup. And qualification for the World Cup is a process in itself. If we are within the top 8 to 10 countries in Asia, I don't think we should be bothered about qualifying for the World Cup. It will happen automatically. So thinking about qualification is not on my mind right now. It's about bridging that gap between the top 10 teams and us in Asia. If we can do that, it will help us in the qualification for the World Cup, be it 2026 or 2030 or whichever.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, which are the areas in Indian football that need more development, according to you?
Uh, we need to play more games, uh, because whenever we've gone with the youth national teams to exposure trips abroad, we've noticed that it's if we have played around 4 to 6 games in that particular exposure trip, the teams that we are playing up against would play almost 20 to 25 games. So it's a big difference. So I think we need to find a way in which we can, which a player like Akuya, a player like Liston, Suresh, can play around 40 games at least in a season. So that could be the major league, it could be cup tournaments, it could be the local league. So if we need to have a number of games, a longer season would help. A longer season would help because it's a whole different ball game, playing for about 3 or 4 months and then playing for around 8 months in a season. So more game time, which in in uh, in return will benefit the player, will benefit football in India. The youth leagues are pretty well organized at this moment of time. I feel the under 13s, the under 15s, the under 18s. There's good competition. I feel it's not only the responsibility of the AIFF, it's also the responsibility of the state associations. So if we can have more competition at state level, the competition at national level would be even better. So if we want more games at the senior level, we need more games at the youth level as well, and competitive games. So, for example, if a team plays from Maharashtra, from Mumbai, plays around 6 games and then doesn't make it to the final round, your season is over. So if the state organization can have some more tournaments for them, and we could play around 20 to 25, 30 matches in a season competitively, I think that could benefit teams at the youth level as well, or maybe have a reserve league. Most of the teams right now have a reserve team as well. So you can have a reserve league where players that don't get game time with the first team can play in the reserve team. But I think the biggest difference and the biggest improvement that we need to make is at the grassroots level, because we need kids to start early, and we need kids to start early in an organized way. We often say that you play for fun. It's not only fun. If we need football to improve, we need the kids at that level also to understand competitiveness, and to understand the responsibility that of what a training session is and what development is. So I think we need more game time. And organizational wise, I think at the grassroots level and a little bit towards the youth level, we need to structure the environment in such a way that we have more games for youth as well.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, my next question to you is, what's your view on this current Indian national football team under the leadership, under the coaching of Igor Stimash? Because last time when Sir Stephen Constantine left the squad, after that, Sir Igor Stimash took the whole management. Okay, and now we have won only 2 games, defeated in 11, most probably in 11. So, what's your view on that?
Uh, I wouldn't want to compare both the tenures because it's not fair. But one thing I would like to say is that there have been a lot of changes. I think Igor is, I think after this World Cup qualifying campaign, he's got probably his best uh, assumption of what his squad should be. I think when he spoke after the UAE and Oman friendlies, he said that we have 12 to 13 players in the squad, and from these two friendlies, we would want those few players to add to that 12 to 13 players. And I think after those two friendlies, we've had players like Akash Mishra, Apuya, Liston, Bipin added to that uh, base of players that he has. So it's I feel that now that the campaign is the World Cup campaign is over, he has his players. I feel he has the players that he needs to now take us into the Asia Cup. So I'm looking forward to it. I feel it's a very young squad. It's a squad that is trying to play football, trying to play a possession style of football, which may not be possible against maybe the bigger teams. But especially the 2 matches against Oman, I was very encouraged with the performance because we were neither very defensive, but we were neither very offensive, but we were in the middle somewhere, pressing whenever the chance was there. And I think if those kind of performances need to be repeated on a consistent basis. I think where most of the people are getting frustrated, I think you guys must be in the same boat, is that the consistency in performances are not there. But I feel now that once he's got his squad finally assembled, we should see a good consistency in performances and hopefully qualify for the Asia Cup, and then see how well we can do there. So I'm looking forward to it. A lot of young players, a lot of good established players who are there in the squad. Uh, so for me, it's I wouldn't say it's a success at this point of time, but it's a work in progress. And slowly but surely, I think it will take its course in due time. Yeah.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, do you think that the Indian coaches are being confined to the role of being only just an assistant manager to ISL team, and also being the head coach of the I League clubs? Do you think they are not given the opportunity to showcase their talent by the AIFF?
No, I don't think it is uh, uh, the onus on the AIFF, but it's the clubs that who need to be uh, confident in an Indian coach taking the helm. And we've seen in the past where uh, Naushad Musa, Thangboy, Singto have taken up interim roles, Pradyum Reddy, you know. So these kind of roles will help us, at least give the Indian coaches a little bit of limelight as to, what they can achieve if given the opportunity to lead the team. And by far, I think the one coach that is leading the way is Khalid Jamil, because he's not now only an interim. He has very much uh, cemented his place as a head coach candidate for Northeast United, and hopefully they can go ahead with him as the head coach, going by the performances he got last season. And I think that would be a big breakthrough for all the Indian coaches who are working, irrespective in the I League or the ISL. That if given the opportunity, you know, uh, like Khalid was, then it's up to you to perform. It's not only about you being given the job and then relaxing. Yes, I've got the job. It's about you performing week in, week out. And I think Khalid is now setting a good example. He's carrying the flag for Indian coaches, if you could say. Uh, that if you are given the opportunity and you perform, the job is there for you. So and but I also feel it's not there's a lot to learn being an assistant coach as well, uh, because me this was my first season in the I League with a professional team, and I worked under Curtis, who has played over 100 appearances in the Premier League, has coached at Crystal Palace, Middlesbrough, and various other clubs. So there's a lot to learn from them as well. So apart, like I said, we coaches, we cannot say we know everything. We need to learn at every stage and every possible way, and build that kind of philosophy, build our style as we learn on the go. So when the time comes for us to, or when we are given the opportunity, we have enough experience and enough confidence to say that yes, I can lead the team and achieve the goals that you are looking for. So with Khalid now, hopefully he should get the job with Northeast United. We all pray that he does, and he will be leading the way for Indian coaches to get head coach's job in the future. I think we are moving in that direction for sure, not just with uh, the club teams, but I think even with the national team. Soon, I think we will have enough candidates uh, of Indian origin to take over with the Indian national team as well in the future.
Absolutely, sir. So, speaking of Indian football and speaking of ISL, I would like to add one more question with that. Sir, how do you like to describe the influence of Spanish coaches in ISL, like Antonio Lopez Havas and etc.?
It's a learning experience for all the players. Um, the first thing is, whenever any of these coaches have come in, uh, they have laid down a very good standard, be it a standard of playing, be it a standard for fitness, be it a standard for professionalism, and obviously uh, results result oriented. So it is up to the players now to step up and prove themselves. So the players have had to uh, concentrate ever so well in every training session. They have to maintain their fitness levels not only during the season but in the off season as well. Because if they know if they come back unfit, they might probably be sent home. Uh, the pressure of being needing to perform week in week out in the ISL uh, is also something that has improved the confidence level and has improved the what do you say, the patience and focus of all the players. So, and last but not the least is they bring in a style of play. What I've observed in all these coaches is that they believe in a particular style of play, and they look for players who can fit into their style. Like you mentioned, Abbas has his own style of play, and as long as he's winning, no one is going to complain, right? So there are a particular set of players that are suited to the way Abbas plays. So then you have uh, Hyderabad FC, for example. They have played a very possession-based, open style of football. FC Goa as well. So uh, it's good that players are now getting exposed to this possession-based style of play, which will enhance, the chances of the Indian national team as well, moving into that style. So, you cannot just expect your national team to switch from a counter-attacking style to a possession-based style like this. It doesn't happen like that. The base is set in the local league or in the national league that happens in the country. And the stronger the national league is, the more competitive it is. I think this last season was by far the most competitive. The more competitive it is, the better it is for the senior national team because the players then carry that knowledge into the national team. So all these coaches coming in uh, are only helping us improve. They are coming in, they're giving their expertise. We should be there and we should be grasping as much information as possible as coaches and players to improve our own performances both on and off the pitch and educate ourselves further as to what we need to do, to raise the level. Because it's not our fault, because we are not exposed to the level that these coaches are exposed to when they are in their respective countries. The level of football out there in Spain, the organizational structure there, uh, the education for coaches and players out there is of a high standard. So when you're exposed to that, you automatically get so much of information that when you come to a country like India, it is very easy for them to just uh, give out all that information to us so as to help us, build a good base for ourselves where we can improve. So I believe that they've only improved the level of football in India. They've improved the level of professionalism in India, and all players and coaches are just we need to learn from them and become better players and coaches, which will in fact help the national team as well and Indian football in general. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more question from my side. That's I'd like to add with that. Sir, what's your view if we compare our Indian league structure with any European league structure? Our players play almost less than half of the matches what they play. Do you think there is a need of increasing the number of games as far as Indian football is concerned?
100%. I think just by having a bigger season, a longer season, and a few tournaments in the way, we need a minimum of 40 matches. If we can achieve 40 competitive matches in the season, it will make a huge difference to the level of football in the country just by increasing the number of competitive matches. And if we can finally solidify a structure for football with second division, I League, the I League, the ISL, the local leagues below it. We will have a good ladder for a player to climb, so that he can improve as he moves on in that ladder. But for any player in the country, I think we need at least 30 to 40 matches, 40 at at least, you know, to for a player to mature completely. Yeah.
It's a question from Onkit Chakraborty. So can we see you at ISL? It's a very big question.
Yeah, Ankit, you tell me which ISL club is looking for a coach. You can contact me directly, and then I'll get in touch with you. So right now I'm with Round Glass Punjab in the I League, and
Yeah.
it's a good learning experience. It's not something that I don't want to be in the ISL, but I felt that the project at Round Glass Punjab is a very good project for me to learn and develop further as a coach. and it's been a year there, and I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to the next I League season, and
Can you
let's
please
see how that
describe?
goes.
Sorry to interrupt you here. Can you
Yeah,
please describe how it's like working with Papa Babakar Diwawara and Joseba Betia? Please, I want to hear you from
yeah.
you.
I mean, probably uh, one of the best players, foreign players that I've been associated with as a coach would be Papa Diawara. Uh, wow, I mean, his touch, his movements on the ground, uh, his ability to finish is exceptional. It is some other level altogether. And but what makes him so special is that he's such a good human being. He's so simple. He's always encouraging the younger players. He's giving them good advice. For a player who's played in the Champions League, who's played in the La Liga, uh, you know, to to be so humble with the players around you, not just players but the staff as well. He's always ready to listen to what you want to say. He never complains too much, and you could see the difference. He came in mid-season for us, uh, and usually a player who comes in mid-season, they would lack fitness, you know, would uh, would not settle in that quickly. But he came in, he started scoring goals. He played 90 minutes each and every game, which shows you that he's a true professional. And as a coach, you can't ask for anything more. You want the players to be professional. You want your players to work hard for the team. And I think he's probably technically one of the best players that I've seen in the league. And Joseba as well. Joseba is uh, both of them had won the I League and come to us. So you could easily say that uh, uh, they they could have come in with a lot of attitude, saying that we won the league, we need to do this. But both of them were so humble, and having that experience of having won the league, they helped us in a lot of difficult situations where they helped the team to calm down, not get too over excited, not to react to situations where it wasn't required. But more importantly, they were leaders for the team. Both Joseba and uh, Baba Diawara, along with the experienced Indian players in the team, were leaders for us. So it was a pleasure having them uh, at Roundglass Punjab, and hopefully we can use that kind of experience for the other players to learn and further improve. But these are the kind of players that you look forward to working with, because they're not only here for the money, they are here to help you improve as a coach, help your players around you improve, and as a whole help the club achieve the goals that they want to set. So exceptional talents and professionals, both Baba Diawara and Joseba Beke.
Sir, what are your views on the recent transfer that are happening in the ISL that includes Johnny Kauko, the current Finland international who is hitting the Euro? What are the views on it?
I, I mean, it's only going to help Indian football.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more question from my side. That's what are your views on all the transfer rumors? Because see, there have been many marquee player system which has been rejected out in from ISL since 2016. So, what are your views on that? Because you have told that it's gonna help Indian side, but without marquee players, how it's gonna help?
I'm sorry, I had just a problem with the sound. No, it's in order to improve Indian football, you need the clubs. The clubs are the base, right? They are the ones who are going to raise the standard of football in India. So there are various clubs have various projects, different projects. You have, like you said about, uh, I forget his name, Yoni Kapoor coming in. If we can start attracting, if we can start attracting players who are currently playing in tournaments like the Euros, imagine how it's going to improve the quality of football in the country. And uh, the thing that has changed this would be us playing in the AFC Champions League and the AFC Cup. So that has now pushed the clubs, to raise the level of their performances. Because if you want to compete in the AFC Cup and if you want to compete in the AFC Champions League, you need to have better players in your squad. And uh, when we saw FC Goa play in the Champions League, yes, playing in the Champions League was a big achievement. Competing against them was very difficult. And now FC Goa have given us a good platform as to what is required to compete at that level. And uh, if you compare the squads, I think you'll agree with me that Mumbai City has a much more experienced squad, and much a squad that is more in depth, and with respect to quality as well, with respect to experience. And they would in turn do much better maybe in the AFC Champions League, seeing as what FC Goa has done in the Champions League. And bringing in these experienced players are only going to help the Indian players. Imagine the likes of the club players playing alongside him, his experience from the Euros, his experience playing for the in the league in Finland as well. So you know, uh, it's an encouraging sign that instead of signing players who are now at the end of their career, we are signing players who are actually going to be performing week in, week out for the team, and who still have that aim and ambition of playing to the highest level for their respective clubs. So, that is an encouraging sign. So, hopefully, the other clubs as well sign in players where it helps the club compete at the highest level, and that is the AFC Cup and the AFC Champions League. Because the better we do there in these competitions, the better our ranking. So imagine at one point of time we have two AFC Champions League slots, three AFC Cup slots, which is possible only if we do well in these competitions. So signing such players is only going to help us get into the further rounds of these competitions, and hopefully one day if we win the competition, that's going to help the country get better ranking, more points, and hopefully extra slot or two in the AFC calendar. Yeah.
Sir, our last question to you. Sir, do you set any personal targets for yourself? If so, what is your target for the next season?
The next season with Roundglass Punjab FC is to win the I League. As simple as that. Because Indian football is very, at this moment of time, the season is very short. So you can't spend too much time thinking and planning on what to do. So the aim is to win the I League, to be as competitive as possible. I feel from last season we had a good base. We built a good base of a lot of young players in the team. I think we gave debuts to around 10 players in the team. So now we have that base, we have that experience in the I League. So we are looking forward to this season, building a good squad and competing for the I League championship. That would be my aim as well as a coach, because whenever I go into any club, yes, I would like to develop the club. I would like to work with every aspect in the club, but at the same time, you have to do development has to be accompanied with winning and achieving your goals and targets as well. So wherever I've been right throughout, whether it be Kingsley Football Academy and Club, the AIFF Elite Academy, we've always won things at a regular level. And I would like to replicate that with Roundglass Punjab as well.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir. Thank you very much for joining live with us, because it was our pleasure to have you on our show. And we wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. Okay. And thank you very much, sir. It was a lovely moment for us.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've been a little bit more active on social media these days. Part of that is just to interact with people like you. You being, I would consider you as more enthusiastic than a common fan, because you guys are taking it to the next level by having such interactions. Because a part of me also wants to understand what you think about football in the country and sharing your views about what's going on. because it's sometimes it's good to have the point of view of a fan, but at the same time, I feel it's my responsibility to give my point of view as a coach, and then we can find that kind of a middle ground of who's right, who's wrong, and accept the fact and move on. So I'm glad that you guys are doing this. Keep up the good work, and to all your listeners and to all those who follow you, you are setting a good example for them. You're giving a lot of information to them, and the more we speak and talk about football, the better it is for football in the country as a whole. We are a small part of a big movement of football in India. So keep up the good work, and all the best to you guys for the future.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much
very
for
much,
your.
sir.
Hope to see you again on our show. Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so we end our live interview right here. Hope to see you guys soon once again with a new live episode. So, thank you guys who have watched our Facebook live. And please like, share our page, and do stay with us on this Facebook page, Sports News. And thank you very much for watching this live once again. Bye.